cards with nature scenes are perfect for a masculine card, a feminine card. Everybody loves nature. And cutting it out just makes it look so cool. I've got lots of tips to share. Hello everyone, welcome to sunnydaystamping.com. I'm Julie Baca. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to show you how to make these cutout scenes. I think you're going to be able to use this idea with a lot of different products that you have. For the measurements for this card, head on over to my blog post. It's linked in the description of this video. You'll find extra photos over there, the complete supply list. You can purchase supplies there if you like. I only demonstrate current Stampin' Up! Products so that you can have your cards look just like mine if you'd like. But I do design these so you can use the stuff that you have also. So let's get started. Now, when you're stamping, you want to stamp on white paper so you get a true color, but sometimes for a nature scene, you want the background to have a little color. And this is when I use a blending brush. These are not foam. These are like actual soft bristles that come in a pack of 3. You kind of rub them gently on top of your ink pad. And then I always put a little bit on my scrap paper because I don't want this to leave a harsh mark. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This ink pad is a little juicier than this one, so it's easier for me to show you. So I'm just rubbing the same amount, and look, when you put it down, it just has a really harsh yellow until you kind of do it a little more, and then it smooths out. So that's why I always ink my thing up really well, but then put it on my scrap paper to get any harsh color off, and then I just swirl it around on my paper. I'm just creating a nice gentle hue, which is going to be just a little darker than the white and give just a lot of dimension and make it look really beautiful. So you can keep adding color depending on how dark you want it to be. I don't necessarily want this that dark, and it kind of looks like nothing until you pick it up and you realize there is a square mark left over, and you can see just the subtle background. Now for my nature scene, I'm going to use the Peaceful Evergreens. This is in the Christmas mini catalog, but when I saw it, I'm like, wow, great for Christmas, but also great for cards year round when you change up the colors. So I'm going to show you some. I've got lots of examples as always. I've got some just for regular card making, and then I did make a couple Christmas cards using this set. Now you've got 4 different size trees. Well, actually 3 big trees, and then this one is all one stamp, and that's what I'm going to use right here. So I am going to ink this up. I'm using Old Olive, and I am going to stamp it. Well, for one thing, I should tell you, use a scrap piece of paper that's bigger than the cutout that you're going to make, because you want the scene to extend all the way past the cutout. And so this one, because if I put this right here, it wasn't going to fill up that whole circle. So that's why I'm stamping all the way across with this. And then I also want to give this a little more dimension. So I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to offset these trees so they're not stacked directly on top of each other. And you can see now I've got 2 tones of the same color, but I didn't have to buy an extra ink pad. And so that just makes this a little more full. I didn't quite get that right. Let me see if I can fill this in some more. I accidentally lined those trees up directly, so they're directly in front of each other. Let's see if this is too many trees. No, I think that's good. Isn't that just a gorgeous full forest? I love that. This set also has some little dots you can use as stars, and then these swaths of color. I'm not going to use this in this example, but I've got one to show you. Now, I don't want these dots to really stand out too much, so I'm going to do it the same color as the background that I did. And I'm not going to do too many. We'll just say like that. Could add, maybe I'll add a little bit down here. So you can use the circles or the squares, or if you have rectangle dies, that'll work for. This just seems so pleasing to me, the circle with the rectangles color strip behind. So now you can lay your die on there, and you can move it around to make sure you're cutting out the part of the image that looks the best to you. So now you can just put this in your cut and emboss machine, making sure that that's lined up right where you want to cut out, and then run this through. And now this cut out a perfect circle, but also it's got that beautiful stitching along the edge that gives that little detail. So now we need a greeting to go on the front. And this Peaceful Evergreens does not have any words, which means you can pair it with any other stamp set that has words. This one we're going to use for our everyday card. And then I've got another stamp set with words that I used for the Christmas one. I really loved this Simply Said because it's got the happy birthday, thinking of you, thank you, miss you, you know, all the things that you need. And I love that it's got the block letters and then the cursive that are kind of bolder. So they really work well together. Now, stamping words straight is a little tricky, especially when they're long like this. So I've got a tip for you. Go ahead and line this up on the grid paper, line your stamp up on the grid paper, and then take your stamp block and line that up along the grid paper. And then you're more likely to have it straight. But I always test myself. So I ink it up and then I try to stamp along that line, and I'm like testing myself to see if I got it right. It's a little crooked. So then I know next time I need to rotate just a bit, and then I've got it right. Now I can go ahead and stamp on my paper, which doesn't make that much difference. Oh, this is what I wanted to tell you. So instead of having to like measure these little strips of paper, which gets laborious. Like, you know, I just want to stamp. So this is my tip. Grab your little scraps of paper. I always save my scraps for this reason, right? Oh my goodness. I got so excited about my camera. So take a strip of paper. This is obviously going to be way too big, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to line up our words along the bottom here. And then we're just going to trim it down to the size that we need. And we're not measuring here. We're just kind of like eyeballing it. So I'm seeing, okay, how much distance do I have between the Y and the end of the paper there? And I'm going to cut it. And wow, I actually did that really well. But if I hadn't, I could have cut it again. Now I got to cut off the top. So I'm going to just flip this over and then see if I like that. It's maybe just a tiniest bit thick on the top. I love this cutter. It will take even the tiniest little strip off like that. And so now I've got it perfect. I didn't have to measure it, and it's going to be great. So before we put our stamps away, let's go ahead and stamp on the inside layer of the card. Now, to get all of the measurements for all of these pieces, I've got them on my website. So just go to sunnydaystamping.com, and then this will be one of the first projects on there. My email subscribers will get this project sheet. I'll email it out on Friday, October 11th. If you aren't on my email list, there's a link in the description of this video where you can sign up. This tutorial will also be in my welcome email. So if it's after the time that I've emailed this out, I have it in my welcome email for a week after this video so that you can get it. After that, it goes to my tutorial store and you can just buy it there if you want it. So now we're going to stamp on the inside of our card. When I have a stamp that's large like that, I like to take my ink pad to the stamp, and I'm going to actually stamp this one off. I want this to be a lighter color green. I'm going to put this right in the edge here. I want it stamped off my paper just to give it a more interesting look. Then I'm going to do one more. I want to use all the Christmas trees from this set, all the evergreens. So now this is a skinny one. I'm going to stamp this off. I'm going to put it maybe just a little lower, and then I'm going to go down really low here. And you can see I've got an even lighter shade of color. Then I'm going to take this small tree and I'm going to ink this one up in full strength right here. Now it kind of looks like a forest with trees like farther behind and this one in the foreground. Now I'm going to use this birthday wishes from that Simply Said, and I'm going to stamp that. Actually, I'm going to do it right here on top of the trees. I think that looks pretty cool. And because we have a stamp with dots, we have to use it. So I'm just going to just put a little bit here and then maybe here. So that goes on the inside of our card. Now let's go ahead and stamp the envelope while we were here. Now you're going to take your scrap paper and put it underneath the flap of your envelope. And then I'm going to take this line of trees and we're just going to put it along the bottom here. Just along the lip of it, making sure you're stamping all the way down onto the scrap paper so that when you lift this up, you don't have any white underneath your trees. And then I guess we'll go ahead and put another layer. Oh, yeah. That looks really good. Making sure you're staggering those trees. Oh, that looks so good. Let's see if we need to add anything else. Or actually, I think that looks really good. We're going to leave it like that. No. They've got this little tiny yay. Oh my goodness, I keep bumping my camera. I'm so sorry. They have this little yay inside of that Simply Said. We're just going to put it right there. Oh yeah, that looks so cute. Okay, we've got all our parts and pieces done. Go ahead and grab your card base. I'm using basic white, but oh my goodness, I have ink on me. I think that'll be fine. That's the back. I'm going to use the thick. It comes in regular or thick. So regular, it is totally fine. The regular basic white is great for layers, great for little pieces like this. But if you're going to use a card base, you want it to be nice and thick. So, and I'm just going to throw a swath of these trees on the back of our card. Oh, that looks good. And I'm going to use this little flourishy thing. I'm sure it's just like I don't know what it is, but oh, that just looks good. Okay, so this is our card base, and now we'll go ahead and put all the layers on here. Now, for every card example, I used the same thing. I used a basic white cardstock, basic beige layer, and then you change it up by using a different color strip. And I've got examples to show you, but this allows you to just not have to buy a ton of supplies. Like you've got the same card base and just add your own flair with the color strip. So we'll go ahead and glue all this on. So now I'm using the same color accent for the front I'm using for the layer on the inside of the card. Doesn't that look sharp? And then we'll just put this right on the inside. And now you're going to take your elements for the front and kind of moving them around and see where you want to put them. And you can glue them directly on here if you don't have Stampin' Dimensionals, but I do, so I'm going to use them. And they're these foam adhesive. They're double stick adhesive, but that little bit of foam pops it up enough that creates a shadow behind it and makes it it just pops it right off there. It looks awesome. So then you just take off the little backs. You can take them off with your fingernail, but I love this take your pick tool. Okay, and then we're just gonna put this right here. Wouldn't this be a great masculine birthday card, or if somebody loves the outdoors? Oops, I missed one. And we're going to just put this right down here. Now you can obviously fancy this up with some ribbon, with some bling, some little self-adhesive gems, but I wanted to keep the supplies kind of low. So we're just making this kind of a chill, easy card with this gorgeous matching envelope. Let me show you some other examples, other color combos. This is the one using the old olive. Oh, and here's the back of the card that we did. Now this was the one at the beginning of the video. This is with Pretty Peacock with a crushed curry background. So now this one, I use Highland Heather cardstock for the color strip, and then Highland Heather with those splotches that were in that stamp set, and then put a little bit on the envelope there. Okay, so now for the Christmas card, I used the same stamp set, but I changed out the words to be more Christmassy. This is Peaceful Season, and it actually, in the catalog, these are together, so I used them together. So now this one is that same block of colored cardstock. There's a star in that Peaceful Evergreens stamp set, so I put that on there, and here's the inside. But I wanted to show you, you can also use a piece of Designer Series paper instead of this color block. This Designer Series paper is from the Take a Bow Designer Series paper, which is awesome. This is the one where you can make those bows for your gifts. Anyway, I would love to know which ones you like best. There is a fantastic starter kit special running now in October 2024 where you get to pick out $155 worth of products but only pay $99. Shipping is included. You get a free paper pumpkin kit and other supplies. So it is a fantastic deal if you've ever considered joining. And yes, you can join just for the discount because everything after your starter kit, you get 20% off all your purchases. So come on, bargain shoppers. Like that is why why I ended up joining, and then I ended up turning it into a business, but that's definitely not the expectation, but it is something you can do if you'd like. If you've got any questions, please reach out to me, leave me a comment. I am happy to help. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a sunny day. Oh, and I'll see you again next Thursday. I put out a new video every Thursday.